Hello, my name is Daniel Yuck. Thank you for clicking on my video today. I appreciate you. In today's video, I want to go over some tips for beginning tattoo artists. Within this video, I want to try to relay as much information as I can and be as descriptive as possible along the way. So that way, by the end of this video, you can walk away with some tips that will help you along the way. Should you have any questions at any point throughout this video, I'm going to encourage you to drop a comment down below. I will do my absolute best to assist you in the best possible direction. Don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and ring that bell for me, as I'm going to be bringing more videos like this for you all. If you enjoy my channel and find my content helpful, consider checking out my Patreon and or becoming a Patreon, as you might find some helpful content over there as well. With that being said, let's get right on into this. Let's take it from the very top. First and foremost, whenever we tattoo, whether it's on real skin or fake skin, we always want to use gloves. I'm not tattooing right now and I still have gloves on for this video. So always use gloves when we tattoo, whether it's on fake skin and or human skin. Even if you wanted to double up on your gloves, by all means double up. Aside from always wearing gloves when tattooing, no matter if it's fake or human skin, we can also use arm sleeves to wrap around our arms. Granted, we can use a barrier like this, or we can use simple saran wrap and maybe put like some napkins and then use this to create a barrier around our arms. This is going to protect ourselves and our clients when we tattoo. I would prefer to use a barrier, especially if we're going to be doing larger tattoos or areas where we're going to be resting on the client. Then I would recommend to put a barrier around our arms. They do get a bit sweaty, however, you can always put the napkins in there to avoid it. The process to put these on is pretty straightforward. Like so. So it covers the entire part of our hand here. And these do pretty good at staying put. So this is what I would put on when I'm going to be doing larger tattoos. Even if I'm going to be doing an arm piece, leg piece right here, anything that requires me, again, to be on the client, I'm going to use arm sleeves along the way just to protect myself and the client as well along the way. To take it a step further, as technology advances, so do the tools that we have available to us. For example, there are mags that are about 123 needles big, and we can use those for blacking out areas. So let's say, for example, when we are doing blackout tattoos, we do experience a lot of splurt and splattering. Even if we're lining with larger round shaders, there's a lot of splatting and ink coming back at us going on. You can go to the extent of using one of these right here when you're tattooing. I haven't opened this one yet, but this is a face cover. It's fully transparent, easy to see through. But you can even go as far as protecting your face and get one of these as well to cover when you're tattooing, again, for the appropriate applications. For me personally, I don't mind looking silly and protecting myself to any extent that I can. So how this works is pretty straightforward, and these actually do a really good job at preventing any splatter from coming up and hitting our face, potentially getting in our nose, our nasal cavity, and our eyes. So it's a transparent frame here. Then all it is you just simply bring it around over here like this side, and then just button it together. Very simple, very straightforward. And then from here, you place it on like so. So it is possible to go the extra mile and get a face cover to protect ourselves along the way when we are tattooing. Me personally, even with these glasses on, it feels really comfortable when it sits flush on my face. I would much rather use a shield like this to protect my entire face when I'm tattooing, because I tend to use larger round shaders. I do experience a lot of feedback from my ink, which could be really bad at points. So having these resources available does change everything, and it does help keep us safe. I will link you below to the resources that I'm sharing with you in the video, so that way you can check them out on your end. If you have any questions, again, please feel free to drop them down below. I'll do my best to assist you in the best possible direction. Okay, so moving on now. Another good tip is when we're just starting out, we want to get into the habit of wrapping everything, whether it's your tattoo machines or your furniture. Wrap as much as you can. I understand some machines kind of don't allow us to wrap it in a comfortable way that's not going to interfere with the mechanics of the machine. That's a different story. What I'm saying is you always want to try to put a barrier and create a low risk environment. So wrap your furniture and wrap your machines. When it comes to my furniture, I prefer to use saran wrap, simple like this. I just get this going around my furniture, And I put a few layers, so I'll wrap it maybe once, twice, 3 layers, and just in case there's any movement or any, punctures to the plastic, we have a few layers going on there. So I use saran wrap for my furniture, and for my machines, I will also tend to use saran wrap, or I'll use a barrier film like this. So it just really depends on the machine itself. For example, this Mummy Anubis has a multi-stroke setting here where I could adjust from a 4.2 millimeter stroke all the way down to a 2.2. So for this, I would use a barrier film because cling wrap may slip around on me, and I don't really want that throughout my tattooing sessions. So again, what I choose to use throughout every session may change depending on the gear that I'm using. However, the point is to put a barrier around everything that you're using when you tattoo. I find it good practice to always have medical grade chemicals on hand so that way we can go about having a clean, sterile environment. On my right we have Opticide, and right here we have Matacide. I love both. Both of them get the job done. It's always good practice to have medical grade chemicals on hand. Another tip that I want to relay and that really helped me along the way was getting comfortable with the gear that I chose to use. Getting comfortable with the gear that you choose to use is going to be big. Make sure that you're picking the gear that you choose to use for the correct reasons. Some artists would prefer to use a pin style tattoo machine like this Mummy Anubis tattoo machine. Others would prefer to use a coil like this one that I have right here. I encourage you to research the gear that you want beforehand. I also have loads of different reviews available on my YouTube channel that you can go and check out. If you have any questions, drop them down below. I will do my absolute best to assist you in the best possible direction. Another good tip for me that I picked up early on was to only take on tattoos that I know that I can do. So I practice to a certain extent. So let's say if I was only able to do lining, I wouldn't take on any tattoos that require shading, dot work, and or textures. I would do just lining tattoos at the very beginning until I started establishing more comfortability with everything else. Which brings me to my next tip, or resource rather. A good place to start when we're trying to build these stepping stones up of tattooing is lining. For me personally, that's where it all began for me. I got a simple composition notebook and did plain old lines right to left all the way, left to right, right to left, back and forth until I completed the entire thing. There is better resources now available. So I would always stick with lining first, and then I worked my way up to shading, and then from there I started doing dot work and textures, and then started combining them all together and just kind of stepping up and growing from there. I think that that approach for me was formulated in a manner that was easy to do and easy to kind of stick with every single day. So I feel if you're struggling to figure out where you should begin, I would highly recommend start with lining, then go to shading, shading placement, then you can do dot work, textures, and then everything kind of starts falling into place. A great resource for lining and shading and dot work and textures are my tattoo journal workbook series. Here is volume 1, 2, and 3. They are available right now on Amazon. You can go to Amazon, type in Daniel Yuck, or type in the tattoo journal, and it'll come right up on Amazon, or I will leave links for you in the description below so you can check these out on your end. What's great about my tattoo journal workbook series is that it starts from basic in volume 1, which is lines that essentially go in basic directions, some zigzags. I did do in-depth reviews on these right here, so they are available to check out on my YouTube channel as well. But basically, volume 1 starts off basic with basic lining that we're going to practice with tips and tricks along the way. Volume 2 takes it a step further. In volume 2, we're getting a little bit more advanced with different shapes, and it also included tips and tricks on every single page here. And we also have various different designs from advanced to basic. And there's loads of pages here, as you can see. And this is volume 2. And they're all like that. And then volume 3 is where we take it a bit further and we start doing designs. I haven't released a video on this one yet. I'm going to go ahead and make a full in-depth review on this one, so be sure to stick around for that. But this resource is also available right here. And again, with the same approach. More details down below for you so you can check these out on your end. The tattoo journals are great to start practicing before we start tattooing, and or to develop and polish our skills along the way. Which brings me to my next tip. When we begin tattooing and actually working with needle and ink, practice on fake skin. I wasn't in a rush to go to human skin, and I really feel that paved the way for my tattooing journey. I've practiced on so much fake skin, and I still do, that I'm able to feel a lot more comfortable when I practice on human skin. And not only that, not only do I feel more comfortable, I'm able to execute a lot of different advanced techniques along the way on human skin as well, just the same way that I do on fake skin. So I highly encourage you to take your time and practice on fake skin before we ever think about going to human skin. There are various fake skin resources, from silicone limbs all the way to fake skin slabs that are the size of a full body. I'll go ahead and bring another in-depth review on something like that soon, so be sure to stick around and subscribe. Here are some fake skin limbs. I'll leave links for you in the description below so you can check these out on your end. These I did a while back. The videos are also available on my YouTube channel for you to check out. But here are some limbs that I tattooed a while back. And here is a real skin 2D double-sided arm. And again, the video is available on my channel for this one. My point is, I was able to do a lot of learning that translates over to my human skin aspect of tattooing through fake skin. I was able to learn through fake skin just by simply doing it every day and practicing these same techniques and applications over and over and over. You can also find larger sheets like this of fake skin to practice on. You can see here's a dragon that I did maybe within the first year of my tattooing. And this is one large sheet of fake skin. There are larger as well, and again, we will get to that in another video, but you can see that there are a lot of resources that we can use and have access to, so that way we can better our abilities before we start tattooing on human skin. For me personally, I feel like this was the way to go for me. I wanted to go to human skin already equipped with as much experience and knowledge as I can gain before actually tattooing human skin, whether it was how I conducted myself in my movements or whether it was how I actually technically applied a tattoo. I kind of wanted to learn it all, and I was able to practice all of that using fake skins and silicone limbs along the way. So use the resources, practice on fake skin before we move on to human skin. I had made a recommendation a little while ago to start with lining and then work our way up from there. Well, my next tip would be to start with lining and use a round shader. When we use round shaders, it's a lot more forgiving when it comes to wiggles and wobbles within our lines. We can kind of get used to pulling nice clean lines with a round shader and then use that same information and knowledge and translate that over to the other needle configurations. So I would recommend to start with a round shader. This is an Amala 11 round shader, and this is an Ink Claw 22 round shader. You don't want to go too large for your first round shader. I would stay anywhere between a 7 round shader to an 11 round shader. I think that's a healthy place to begin, and again, because it is a lot easier to create nice clean looking lines using a round shader than it is over a round liner. A round liner tends to show all of our imperfections and mistakes, so I would work our way up to that and start with a round shader instead. I know that sounds counterintuitive and maybe even backwards, but this is a far better approach in my opinion. So the idea would be to work our way from the round shaders and then work our way on up to a larger round liner all the way down to a smaller round liner to get the, I guess, familiarity and become comfortable with all of the configurations that are available to us. I feel this is a great place to begin. Another good tip, and I wish I would have known this one early on, is to invest into good quality gear. For example, when I first started, one thing that really stood out to me was the stencil paper. I really didn't know which one to get because there was kind of a lot for me to pick from. So I went with the cheaper brand of stencil paper. It was like an unknown brand. When I tried to print or even draw on there, the results were horrendous. I wasn't able to work with that stencil paper. It wasn't until I invested into Spirit stencil paper, which is a bit more upfront. However, the results are impeccable. I will never go back. I will never use a unknown brand of stencil paper unless I know that it works, and Spirit stencil paper is one of those brands. So another good tip is to invest into good quality gear that you can trust and that other people are using as well. And again, I do have a lot of reviews available on my YouTube channel to assist you along the way. Another tip that I feel is very, very important and should be a priority is to prioritize your comfort when tattooing. When you're tattooing, make sure that you're always thinking about your posture. Try to be as comfortable as you can when you're tattooing so you don't walk away with aches and pains every single day when you practice. Keep in mind, if this is something that you want to do long term and definitely, then this is somewhere that we would want to pay attention to and focus on. When we are tattooing, try to develop a healthy comfortability with tattooing tattooing. So again, that way we don't walk away with aches and pains at the end of each and every tattoo session. And my last tip here comes back to what I was talking about earlier. When it comes to progression, I feel like it's better to start with the lining, shading, dot work, and textures. Along the way, you can start getting more advanced with this. So when you establish a good comfortability with lining, then start practicing shading. And once you got the technique down and you're able to shade, start practicing shading placements on various designs. And again, I do have videos on my Patreon that walk you through tattoos step by step, and I provide you with the stencils as well that you can check out if that's something that you were interested in. So once you've established the fundamentals, feel free to branch off and start getting more advanced, and again focusing on shading placement, dot work placement, even different style of tattooing designs. All of that matters in the end, and I do feel all of that can also be practiced on fake skin before we ever tattoo on human skin. That'll be it for this video. Should I have a new list of new tips and tricks for beginners, I will go ahead and bring a new updated video for you all. For now, I do hope that you can take something from this video and walk away to help you on your end. Yet again, if you have any questions at all, I'm going to encourage you to drop a comment down below. I will do my absolute best to assist you in the best possible direction. And please don't forget to subscribe to my YouTube channel and ring that bell for me, as I'm going to be bringing more videos like this for you all. I do have social medias under the same name as my YouTube channel at Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and TikTok. I would truly appreciate the support over there as well. If you enjoy my channel and find my content helpful, consider becoming a patron or checking it out for me, as you may find some useful content over there. With that being said, I appreciate your time. Thank you for watching. You have a great day.